Tornadoes and hurricanes. So starting with tornadoes. When you have a tornado, typically this is going to be associated with a cold front and strong thunderstorms, which means you've got a lot of uplift and instability. And that's the key to triggering a tornado, because that uplift is going to reach regions where you have airflow in different directions. And that is what's going to trigger the rotation that you need to actually create the tornado. Of course, tornadoes are associated with high winds. Because of the concentration within the cyclone, you're going to get very high winds right in the vicinity of the tornado, and very low pressure because you have lots of uplift right in the center of that cyclone, and that creates the low pressure. And so typically things get sort of sucked up into the tornado. The Wizard of Oz got it right. So how does that differ from a hurricane? Well, compared to tornadoes, hurricanes are going to be larger, but they also always form over the ocean, and in particular over warm water. So that warmth from the water is going to be our source of uplift. So it's going to be like a tornado. You're going to get that instability, you're going to get that winds going in different directions, leading to the circulation, but on a much larger scale. But it doesn't start as a hurricane. It starts as a tropical depression. So this is basically a low pressure system. It's going to be not well developed. But it may have a little bit of circulation, but not much. When the winds get over 40 miles per hour, then it starts to become a tropical storm. So it's going to be more organized. And it's going to now show signs of circulation. It's going to start to look almost like a hurricane. The key for a hurricane is winds over 75 miles per hour. And that's at the eye wall. So that's in the region right around the eye of the storm is where your winds are the highest. That's also where you have the lowest pressure. And that low pressure is going to create what's called the storm surge. So the water underneath the hurricane is rising because of that low pressure. When the eye hits land, so does that wall of water. And that's where most of the damage is done from a hurricane. It's not the winds, it's the storm surge that does most of the hurricane damage, because you have this giant wall of water coming inland. Of course, under the eye, it's nice and clear, but then you get the other side of the eye, and so you get a little respite from the storms, but then the storms hit again, as well as the very high winds. So that's how a hurricane does its damage.